Hi, everybody. I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show. Episode 21 of the Be Healed book as we continue on in the series. And so now we're going to talk about healing, the 7 deadly wounds.
Yes, Jesus remained deeply rooted in the love of...
You can't do it.
Jesus remained deeply rooted in the love of the Father and never lost sight of his true identity, Deacon Dave.
And I think this is she's trying to be funny now because...
No, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to read the thing without looking like I'm reading.
And you still sound like you're reading, so you have to... Listen, here's the thing. One of the big key factors in this part of the book is that we have to recognize that Jesus didn't fear. And so often when we enter into suffering or some difficulty, right, fear is like the first thing that gets a hold of us, right?
Right. But Jesus chose not.
Yeah, do it.
I was going to do it. What are you talking about? Jesus chose to enter into powerlessness and even...
Powerless. What does it say? Ness.
And the apparent hopelessness and confusion of the cross. So Jesus chose to enter into powerlessness and even the apparent hopelessness and confusion of the cross, but never lost sight of God's will and mighty power.
So it's just like crazy, isn't it, that God chose to enter into hopelessness?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And powerlessness. And here's the thing. I think the powerlessness word is what really struck me here.
Yeah.
Because we have to recognize that our suffering, in many ways, we are powerless. And so our suffering can be a reminder of how deeply we need to lean into God, right? And to really depend on Him in everything we do, not just in the suffering, not just getting through the suffering, right? But this is really a message for all of the spiritual life, that we should just give ourselves over to God, right? Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who, fully rely on God.
Yeah.
None of that's written up here, by the way.
I was looking for that.
Right.
But no, I do think like the hopelessness thing, that is very interesting because that's actually one of the wounds too. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So it's interesting to realize that Jesus had this hopelessness, but then he also is the example because he never lost sight of God's will and mighty power. So he knew that God was in control.
So he understands how it is when we might begin to feel hopeless.
Yeah.
Right. But he never lost sight of God's will.
Yeah.
And more than anything, the Father's power.
Right.
Right. Who created everything.
Right.
Okay. So that hopelessness, right, that he was allowed to feel what it's like to be abandoned by the Father, right?
Yeah.
He still looked to him and turned towards him. He didn't internalize this lie that the Father had actually left him. Instead, he continued to trust the Father.
So he avoided despair.
Yes.
Yeah. And even though... Wait, what are we
I already covered that whole paragraph, see, without even reading it. I am a trained professional, Lisa.
You also wrote the notes. Deny our
like
pain.
A month ago. Isn't it fun to listen to us? Don't answer that question.
Deny our pain.
Let's do a takeaway question after this one.
Okay. Denying our pain is what keeps us continuing to feel so hopelessly alone.
And it is easy to feel alone when you are suffering.
Huh. The denying our pain thing, though, that's interesting. That is what is causing our aloneness.
I think, I think there's no embracing in that, right? We're like in denial. Right. So we're not...
take it away.
Yeah, so we're not embracing the reality of what is occurring and how God can redeem it and bring value to it in ways that we couldn't even possibly imagine. And so it's in a sense, when we deny our suffering, it's not healthy for us, right? And then it really sucks the power of what that suffering could contain if we actually trusted and gave it all to Jesus, right? If we surrendered it to Him, then it could have great power in our lives and in the lives of the people around us, right?
Right.
That's why communion with Jesus, is so important.
Right.
That's when hope is restored.
Right.
Okay, that in spite of our pain, in spite of any shame that we may have, right, the passion of Jesus in His life is what redeems and gives value to our suffering.
Yeah. So that's why it's important to have an intimate relationship with Jesus, so that when we're going through these types of things, that we are more aware of who we need to invite into it.
I could not agree more. So a takeaway question, is there some area in your life where you're suffering or you know someone that is suffering And maybe they're in denial. Okay? Take that to God. All right? I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm Layperson Lisa.
See you next time.
Bye.